So the reason that I wanted to do this problem, so I probably should have done a word problem, but the reason I want to do this problem is because on your quiz, most people got the word problem right, but they got this type of problem wrong. So this is why I wanted to go over this, because we're getting held up by little tiny things. All right, we're asked to find the solution to the system. What are we supposed to do first? Right. We use the substitution method to solve here. So both of these are equal to y. So because they're both equal to y and we're literally trying to find where y is the same, we set them equal. So we have, oh, I want green. We have 3x squared minus 9x minus 10 is equal to 2x plus 10. Most everyone is getting this right. You know to set them equal. You know that you're supposed to do what now? Oh. You guys are all just staring at it. Oh, gosh. What is happening?
What did you just say?
All right. So what do we do from here? Yeah. You get everything to one side. Set your equation equal to 0. So we subtract 10 over, and we subtract 2x over. And we end up with 3x squared minus 11x minus 20 is equal to 0. Now what? First look for a GCF. Is there one? No. So what should you try to do next? X method. The reason that I say try to factor first is because some of you, every time that you go try to do the quadratic formula, you screw something up. It's very, very easy to subtract wrong or multiply wrong or to simplify wrong in the quadratic formula for some reason. If you're solid on the quadratic formula, if that's the method you go to and you know you have it down, fine, it'll work every time. But if you know that you're one to screw up negatives a bit, I recommend you try to do factoring first, always. All right, so what do I do first if I'm trying to factor? Always look for the GCF. We don't have one, so what is A times C? And then B is, what times what is negative 60? Negative 15 times 4. So here is the other time where this goes wrong. I saw a lot of people on the quiz do this. Am I right? What did I do wrong? Oh, what tells us what type of factoring we're doing here? You look at your very first variable, your x squared. If there's a coefficient on it, what do? Oh, you bring it down. You factor by grouping. So then we bring down the two numbers we found. Basically, what this x is doing, do you understand the concept behind it? We split this middle number. Do you see it? We kept the first and the last the same, but we split the middle number into two different numbers that would factor well. That's all we did with the x. You see, negative 15 plus 4 is 11x. We just split it into two that we know are going to work out. So now we group the first two and the second two, and we ask ourselves what? What's the GCF of both? So what's the GCF of 3x squared minus 15x? Yeah, you pull out a 3x. So what is 3x squared divided by 3x? Yeah, and negative 15x divided by 3x is negative 5. Good. What's the GCF between 4x and negative 20? And again, we're left with, what is our check right here? if inside the parentheses is the same, you know you're doing this right. So my first factor is what? And my second factor is? Am I done? No. Yes, if this had asked you to factor this, you would be done, but it didn't. It said find the solutions. So what do you now need to do? You set them equal to 0. So 3x plus 4 is 0, and x minus 5 is 0. This right one is easy. We just add 5 over, and x is 5. This one over here, we have to subtract 4 and then do what? Divide by 3. So x is negative 4/3. Am I done here? So we know that the solution between two lines is going to be a coordinate point. So not only do we need an x value, we need a y for both. So I'm going to plug it back into the 2x plus 10. What is 2 times 5 plus 10? This one's easy. So when x is 5, y is 20. And what is 2 times negative 4/3? What is that? So here's where people, I think, are screwing up a little. What's 2 times negative 4? We always multiply the whole number times the numerator. Negative 8. And then how do we change 10 into thirds? So what is 10 times 3? So we have 30/3. What is negative 8 plus 30? 22. 22/3. So when x is negative 4/3, y is 22/3. So I have a solution at negative 4/3, 22/3, and a solution at 5/20. Now am I done?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Yes?
This would be a dumb question, but when you're doing the fractions, if you're adding or subtracting, only use the top number.
Yes. That is why. Right, okay. So when we are adding or subtracting fractions, you are only dealing with the numerator. That's why you need a common denominator. But when you're multiplying or dividing fractions, you're multiplying the top to the top and the bottom to the bottom. So you don't need a common denominator. For example, 2 over 4 times 1/2. You multiply 2 times 1 and 4 times 2. So that's why when you're adding or subtracting, you need a common denominator, because you're not touching the bottom. But you don't need it in multiplying or dividing.